Used to believe cheating had to leave lipstick stains or hotel receipts. But the truth? Sometimes it's hidden in late-night texts, inside the pauses between I love you and good night. He didn't touch her. At least that's what he said. But I've learned, you don't need to touch someone to betray the person who sleeps beside you. It started with laughter, the kind he used to share with me, now reserved for someone on the other end of his phone. He called it friendship. I called it emotional gravity, because I could feel him slipping away, one message at a time. When I finally saw their chats, there were no kisses, no lies, just pieces of his soul he used to give to me. That night, I realized, you can lose your marriage long before anyone ever cheats. Because once their heart belongs to someone else, their body is just a formality. After that night, nothing sounded the same. Even the silence between us changed, heavier, colder. Ethan still smiled, still asked about my day, still said love you before leaving for work. But every word felt rehearsed, like a line from a play he'd performed too many times. I told myself I was imagining it, that the distance I felt wasn't real. But denial is just love's favorite disguise. Every evening, he'd sit on the couch with his laptop balanced on his knees, that same half smile curving his lips. He'd type, pause, backspace, then smile again, a smile that never reached me anymore. Sometimes he'd laugh softly to himself, shake his head and whisper, "You're ridiculous." Not to me, to her. Whoever she was. I started to memorize his expressions, trying to decode them like a secret language. It's strange how you can share a home with someone and still feel like an outsider, a guest in the life you built together. The first real crack appeared on a rainy Thursday. I remember because the thunder startled our cat and made him run under the couch. Ethan was working late, or that's what he said. But at 10:17 p.m., a message popped on his tablet that he'd left charging in the kitchen. The name was blurred by a heart emoji. The preview read, "I can't sleep without talking to you." My heart stuttered. For a second, I thought maybe it was me. Maybe he was being sweet. But the moment I touched the screen, it asked for a passcode. A new one. He'd changed it. That was when I stopped pretending not to see. For the next few days, I became an observer in my own home, watching him laugh into his phone, listening to the way his tone softened when he spoke quietly in the hallway. He wasn't cruel, just distant in that gentle, cruel way only love can be. I started waking up before him, scrolling through old photos of us, our first trip, our messy apartment, our smiles before everything cracked, trying to remember what it felt like to be chosen. One morning, as he showered, his smartwatch lit up on the nightstand. A message flashed briefly. "Thinking of you. Hope she's not around." Then another. "You always know." Enough to make my stomach twist into knots. Enough to make me question every "I love you" he'd whispered since that first day. That evening, I cooked his favorite dinner, pasta with too much garlic, the way he liked it. I poured wine, dimmed the lights, and waited for him to come home. When he did, he looked surprised, almost guilty. "What's all this?" he asked, setting his keys down. "Just us," I said softly. He smiled, kissed my forehead, and sat down. But as we ate, I noticed how often he checked his phone, how his eyes flicked to the screen every time it buzzed. I didn't say anything, not yet. I wanted him to dig his own grave. After dinner, he went to shower. I stayed at the table, staring at his phone, the way it pulsed with notifications like a heartbeat. When he came back, I asked quietly, "Do you ever feel lonely, even when you're with someone?" He froze, just for a second, before answering, "Of course not." "Why would you ask that?" I smiled, but it didn't reach my eyes. "Just curious." He kissed my cheek and said, "You worry too much." But his voice cracked at the edges. That night I waited until he fell asleep. His breathing was steady, soft, the kind of peace I hadn't felt in months. I unlocked his tablet with the old code, praying he hadn't changed it again. He hadn't. The screen opened to a thread of messages. And there she was, Clara, his coworker, the one he'd mentioned once or twice in passing. The one he said was like a sister. The messages weren't sexual. They were worse. They were intimate. She wrote about her bad day, her dreams, her fear of never being enough. And he responded with the same words he used to give me. "You're amazing. You just need someone to remind you of that." Message after message, affection disguised as understanding, boundaries blurred by friendship. The worst part wasn't what they said. It was how often he typed my name only to delete it. He'd start writing about me, then erase it before sending. He didn't want her to know I still existed. I didn't cry that night. I just sat there, reading everything, watching the version of him that used to belong to me. It's strange how betrayal can feel quiet. No yelling, no slamming doors. Just the soft click of someone disconnecting their heart from yours. When the sun rose, I walked into the bathroom, looked at myself in the mirror and whispered, "He's already gone." For the next week, I pretended. I smiled when he talked about work. I laughed at his jokes. I even kissed him goodnight. But inside, I was writing my goodbye. Because love doesn't end when they cheat. It ends when you realize you've been loving alone. I started packing small things. One photo frame at a time, one drawer at a time. He didn't notice. He was too busy chasing validation in someone else's words. Then came the night I finally broke. He was asleep again, phone on the dresser. I took it, opened the messages, and read the last thing he sent her. For more, like and subscribe.